Hello, thanks for clicking play. Hello learners, hello dojo members, hello ninjas, hello everyone. I just want to do a little follow-up video on my how to add music using the stage. Oh, where I can move towards tracks, decrease or increase the volume, stop and play. But this is all using the stage instead of a sprite, and also more importantly, this is all using bound keys, that is kind of keys. We talk about bindings when pressing the key results in an action, which means that I kind of need to go into the project and explain what the controls are. So immediately there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys just for the music. So let's see if we can get that simpler by using a sprite. So let's have a look at this one. How to add music bracket sprite. So it's going to be quite similar. So I'm going to see if I can go inside and wholesale backpack my whole. No, how do I? Oh yeah, here, right. So we're gonna want. What do we want? When the win flag is clicked, both press play music. Fair enough. When I receive play music, da da da. Well, you know what you're gonna do is from scratch. Sorry, my bad. Right, from scratch indeed. But some of the principles are going to be so. In particular, make sure you use royalty-free music. So you can search for royalty-free music. I recommend bensound.com, where there's a lot of stuff. You can search by keyword and so on. I invite you to view the previous video about adding music, where there's a bit more detail about sourcing music. I'm going to use the same music tracks. We're going to make a sprite. So I'm looking for like, I do have a musical note. No. Okay, because I've got a fairly good idea of what I want the little control sprite to look like. So we're going to create it from the costume. Let's create a. That's going to be fun. This kind of like a little light gray. And I'm going to want a new outline. I'm going to want two little circles, so use shift to make sure that they are circles, small ones. That's about right. Of the same size, so I'm copying and pasting it. And let's see, have it not quite lined up, a bit apart and then up by a bit. Let's see how that looks in a second. And then I'm going to want some little, yeah, so that's not right. I want 4. So I want to be drawing I believe it's a semi-quaver, those cool little, just the outline, no fill. And I'm going to pick that same gray. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. It's going to be a lot of kind of scaling up and down and making it look right. Bit thicker. Yes, it's starting to look nice. All right, copy that. And higher up, and then just a line to join them. That looks quite nice, I suppose. Yeah, right. We could maybe make it. So I'm going to want a couple of versions. Zero saturation, zero. Oh, right. Oh. Undo. How about the fill then? Is it like? Oh, not the fill of the whole shape either. Okay, so let's stick with that little look. Take that and center it though. But, Select it and grab the middle. No. And yeah, it's going to snap magnetically to the center. And then let's put that in the top right corner of the screen. So then with the music on, I'm going to make a copy to say music off. Duplicate, off. And for the off, I'm going to take a circle with no fill, an outline. I think 4 is my general weight. In dead black, hold shift to make sure it's a circle. You'll want it to be centered on the, oops, not that. Selection, snap, select the circle, and select the circle, pick it up in the middle. Right, and snap it here, and holding shift to kind of keep the aspect ratio. It's not keeping the aspect ratio. Okay, well let's do it again from scratch. A circle with no fill and an outline of 4 from the corner. Holding shift so it is a circle. Plot that. Make it no. And then okay, maybe a bit thicker, maybe an outline of 5. 7 indeed, even, and a bar to indicate it is off. It's kind of a bit too big here. And try and use the whole thing more like here. Okay, that'll do. The corner looks a bit dodgy because it's kind of the resolution. It's kind of a tiny sprite, isn't it? But still, we've got our sprite, and we've got 2 costumes in the sprite, on and off. Let's plonk that at X. 120, no, 180, 200, 20, 220, 210. That looks to 15. And all the way to 180. Oh, it's the coordinate of the middle, right? So I need to remove whatever 35 or 25 from that. So that's like 35. Yeah, cool. That make it roughly on one corner. So I've got my sprite, I've got 2 costumes, it's on and it's off. So we'll start with the code so that when the green flag is clicked, no. Let's have something on the stage. When the green flag is clicked, I send a message called play music. When the green flag is clicked, broadcast, new message, music. Now, my sprite is also going to contain my tracks, so remove the pop sound that comes with it, use the upload sound function, and select the 4 tracks that I had from my previous Evolution, Creepy Funk House, and Sci-Fi, all in there. I'll need to rename them like I did in the other videos. Sci-Fi becomes SF, Creepy becomes CR, Evolutions become EV, and Funk House become FH. Let's make SF the first sound, because we want this one to play. It doesn't really matter, we're going to tell it, right? So, our sprite, we are going to want to, when I receive play music, I want you to start playing the sound. Start sound, doesn't really matter. Whatever. Again, we get nothing after. You can watch the other video for explanation, because we get nothing below in that string, in that script. It doesn't really matter whether we use the blocking block that stops or the one that starts and continues. Let's make that. Well, we can do the same thing, right? We're going to have a variable in the list. So make a variable. Well, we name the variable as track. No, let's have track name. because you don't. The list is helpful if you get like fast forward and backwards. But we're not going to have both forwards and backwards control. To start with, we're going to have an on-off control, and then we're going to extend that control to using a single sprite also control the volume, which is quite elegant because you get just one thing in your game, and it's only using the click. There's no new keys to bound. You don't need to worry about adding instructions to the game. And so you will need to know what track you want the thing to play. So we're going to expect that, for instance, initially this variable is going to be set to, say, SF. Say we play the sci-fi track. And the sprite is just going to play whatever track name is given it. So if you want to play like a different thing in the second level, you can just change the track name, say to CR for creepy, and then we start refire play music, or indeed like fire stop and start, as you will see, and that should work. So we have a play music that plays the music. What I want is when this flag is clicked, also when I receive stop music, obviously stop the music. I'm using messages rather than like making it directly behave because of the clicking thing, so that you can have other things in your game that fire those messages, although in this demo project there won't be any. But it's nice to just decouple so that not only can you start and stop the music by clicking, so the player will be doing that, but you as the game designer can start and stop the music with messages and the track name variable to just kind of stop and start programmatically based on your game. So when I receive stop music, of course, stop all sound. That's brilliant. Now, when this sprite is clicked, I am going to want an if-else, right? If then else. So if the equal, if the, and I'm going to use the built-in looks variable, which is the costume name. And I have again on and off with capital O in both cases. So if the costume name is on, then I am going to set the costume to off and broadcast. So when it's on and I click it, I switch it to off and I stop sound. So I will broadcast stop music. No, not wait, just broadcast. Again, this is a blocking. I was curious about that. We'll probably talk about this in a later video. And then the other way around, we switch the costume back to on, so that means if it's off, we switch it back to on and we broadcast. Broadcast play music, and that should be the gist of the volume, sorry, of the on-off control. So now it's playing. Oh, off. Play it again. Off. Now, because I'm using the start, it starts again at the beginning, right? But that's your basic version. Now, instead of having just two costumes, I'm going to have, I'm going to make another, I'm going to have 4, and I want off to be the volume at 0%. I'm going to use volume to turn it off rather than stop, although I will keep the message, which means that when you mute it, it mutes it. When you unmute it after that, it will resume wherever it was in the track rather than start from the beginning. And then we just need two new costumes, so we duplicate. I get on2 and on3, and I'm going to add little, I kind of want just an outline of a circle in that kind of shade of grey. I just want an arc, so I want kind of like, I guess, kind of this, and okay, good, no. So I want some little kind of wave type little things, if that makes sense. So we're going to have 3 of them on one. Well, the first on is going to be quiet. Ah. I think sort of moving the thing. I don't want to resize it, I just want to kind of move it in the right place. Yes, that, let's say that does the... I'm going to put them the other way around because our button is like all the way to the left, so we can only kind of add stuff to... So all the way to the right, so we can only add stuff to the left in a way. bit like the right. So if this were like a circle, moving outside, and then I'm removing everything like that, and then making it just a little bit smaller altogether, scale the whole thing down, and yeah, let's say that's our first one. I'm going to do duplication again. So let's say that's all quiet. So this is going to be 25% volume. Duplicate onto, take that little bit, copy it, paste it, make it bigger. That's like maybe a bit too big. Okay, this is like. And then duplicate that a third time. It's not as like immediately good looking. I mean, you can see the idea, but clearly I can't just get like the right angle and the right length of the specific arc to look just right, like I want it, but a proper designer would hopefully be able to. Still, the principle is to just get like 3 sprites going from the quietest to the loudest. Yeah. So as you cycle, have a look here. This is where you want to be looking, right? And then it gets louder, and then it gets louder, and then it's off. So we're going to reorganize the costume so it goes like off, on 2, on 3. And then we're not going to use a if-else logic. All we need to do is kind of cycle through the costume numbers. So let me delete that wholesale. When this point is clicked, we are going to next costume. We're going to set it when the green flag is clicked. We're going to set the volume. So when the green flag is clicked, we are going to set the volume to 25. No, set the volume to 100%, and we're going to pick the costume. We're going to pick on 3 to say we're already at the max, right? So now if I get started, and I click next costume, next costume, next costume, next costume. So I've got the right behavior visually, but I don't write. Of course, it's not affecting the volume like I wanted. So we are going to use when the spine is clicked next costume, and then we're gonna, I guess, test on the costume. So if the costume name is equal to off, then set volume to 0, and I'm going to duplicate that another couple of times. So when if it's like on 1, is it just on? It's just on. So on we're going to have it at 25, and then duplicate again. On 2 is going to be 50%. No, I messed that up. I want 0, 33, 66, 100. Okay. Because we have 4 values, but one of them is 0. So we're not taking, in quarters, we're taking it third. It's obviously evident. Now I mentioned it, but I got it wrong in the very first version. And that's on 3. Real. So we're not really using start, play, and stop again. We're only firing play music and stop music, the messages. We're only firing it from the stage, or you might firing it from wherever. Similarly with the track name. So this is agnostic to, it assumes the existence of those messages and those variables so that you can control them. You can just take this whole sprite and backpack it, which I'm going to call music controller. Or music control. Yeah. You can just take this sprite wholesale, check in the backpack, and then import it to your game. And as long as you've got the right the track name variable and the messages, it will work. And all the rest it does is initializes itself and then respond to clicks. So it looks like that. It starts at volume is 100%. I'm on 3, the loudest costume. Click once. Oh, right. Click once. We go back to off, and volume is 0. click again, we're 33%, but you'll notice we've not restarted the track because it's not received the play and stop music. We're just kind of playing with the volume. Click it again, 66%, click it again, 100%, click it again, it's off. And that is arguably a much nicer way. I mean, it depends what you're going for, but if you're not bothered about giving the player the control of the track number, if it is acceptable to you to give the player only, say, either muted or 3 levels of volume, this is a very elegant way to do this, because if I do this, I'm just going to click the music controller sprite to mute and adjust volume. And let's again not forget that we have the music is from Ben Sound, so let's adjust volume. What's wrong with volume? Adjust volume. Inside. Yeah, no, I think we're done here. So I'm going to share that and publish the video. So that was the whole thing. Of course, to put it in context, you might want to watch the first one, which is how to add music using the stage. I hope you will find this useful. And until I next see you, either in person or digitally, happy coding!